Down in the dreary deep lies a terrifying evil that only rises up to feast on its prey. So beware in Tentacle Town. For one moment you're enjoying your tasty meal, and the next, the last bubble is bursting from your final breath.
Hey there everyone, welcome back to Game Mind, and my name is Dave, and this will be a review of Tentacle Town. Now, as a disclaimer, this is a review copy from Monster Fight Club Games. Thank you so very much for your support, really do appreciate it. Now, from the get-go, you see these tentacles, you're intrigued, am I right? And you've seen these before, most likely. They kind of remind me of bugles, the chips, but don't eat them. But these are little tentacles that are going to be put on the board because you are kind of a delegator in this Tentacle Town. It's a worker placement game, and you're drawing from the pile of workers and placing them on the board. They're working to build harpoons, get gold, and feed their families, but all the while there's this kraken that's in the water trying to wreak havoc on everything. This is a unique worker placement though, because you don't have your own workers. They're actually in a supply of their own that everyone draws from. It actually plays into the game, but before I get into that, let me go ahead and show you what comes in the box, and we'll go from there. So what comes in the box is grade A stuff. It is spectacular. Everything that they wanted to attempt, they nailed it. I mean, the cardboard, the art, thick cardboard, great art, and a linen finish on the cardboard. These tentacles, chop up bits right here. I like how they're all chopped up on the cardboard here, and then just the best tentacles that you can ever ask for. Great plastic, hollowed out so you can put your fingers in them. You're gonna have people playing with these every time you break this game out, but that is probably the creme de la creme of the game here. But everything else is still top tier. I mean, the dice, I would say they could be a little bigger, but that is so nitpicky. I've seen smaller dice. These are fine, and I love that they're custom painted. The cards feel nice. They're thick. They're not a linen finish, but they're a thick cardstock, and I like that a lot. There is a mini expansion that I'm not really going to go too much into in this video. That was with the Kickstarter, I think, but know that it's there. That's what these little boats are. And the board I like quite a bit. You got a large portion of it that's water, and then the little market and the plate in the village area that you have here. So with all that, let's go ahead and show you how to play. Okay, so this is the board here. This is to see where the tentacles are going to be showing up. There are 3 different districts, as you can see, broken up by these lines here. That is also so with the land masses here. So what you're going to be doing on your turn is really quite simple. You're going to be placing a worker from the worker pool that everyone grabs from. Very interesting. And then you can pay a gold, because everybody starts out with 3 gold and some harpoons, to do another task. So when you place a worker, you can either build one of your buildings in one of these slots right here, and you would grab a worker and place it in a district somewhere, just not covering up the squares where the buildings go. Or you can execute one of these actions, which we'll go over in a second. And then again, you can use a gold to do one of those actions again. You can't do the same one twice though. The last thing that happens is a tentacle will rise and or attack. So they will come where the worker was placed. So if there's one already there, another one would show up, and then you would roll dice to see what the tentacles do up to the number of tentacles here. So right now we have 2. We roll here, and they are executing in this district. So the others 2 are safe right now. This one says we're taking out a building, so we would take out the building closest to the ocean here. This is closest, so if it was on the dock and there was another building up here, I would get to choose what buildings I destroy, but I always have to choose closest to the sea. So if I was yellow here, I would be like, okay, well, I want to take out this purple building, which is cool because there's only one building. But if I had 2 houses, I would have to take out my yellow building. No ifs, ands, or buts. The other thing here is the skull. That would take out one of these workers, go back to the supply pool. And the other one here would have a worker run to another district here. Again, you get to choose. And the other sides here are another tentacle would show up. So another one here. It wouldn't do anything when it showed up. It would just be there. And then you got a blank side. Now you have up to 4 dice that you can roll per tentacle, no more. So if there were like 5 there, don't worry about it. But what are you trying to do to win? You want to get fame. So you get fame here by having buildings in the areas at the end of the game, or by using your supply to buy fame. So we have 3 different things that you can have. You have food, you have gold, and you have iron. So right here you can sell all 3 to get another building placed in the district, or you can get a fame point. Sell the food here, you can get a gold. Up here, this is where you can start to forge your harpoons, and you start with 3. This is how you get rid of the tentacles. So you would take 2 iron and a food to forge as many harpoons as there are workers. So it's important to keep count of how many workers are in the district, because it's going to matter. So when they're leaving, but because the tentacles are getting them, well, that might be important. And then you can smelt per building in the district here, which is basically just earning you an iron. The other one here is hunt the tentacles. This is where you can use your hard-earned harpoons, and you can do one of 3 things to determine if it's a success. You can roll this harpoon dice that they have. That would be a not success, but with a silver harpoon it would be a success. Or you can flip this like a coin, and that is a success. Of course, you see the goo or the blood. Or you can use this spinner, my least favorite thing, but spinners are cool for some things. This one's very festive. So if it is a success, you can shoot as many harpoons as there are workers and that you have in your supply. So just remember that. This one right here, you would get a food, and you would be able to put down a building. So you would want to put a building somewhere that would make sense, and definitely not close to the ocean if you can get away from it. Now there are some cards that you can vary up each game. There are some blue ones that are good, and then there's some red ones that aren't so good and they're gonna hinder. But this is kind of a take that type of game, and it's cool to have the variation there. But right now we're not playing with them. As well as the one expansion here. I'm pretty sure that these cards are just kind of like goals. I haven't really messed around with them too much, but there is a dock that they would cover up. They also have boats that act as buildings. I haven't done too much with that. I've been playing the core game a lot more, but it is another good variation that you can have. The best part though are these cute meeples with stickers. These guys are cool. So they're on the cards. I don't know too much about them. I haven't played them, but I'm pretty sure they have some kind of like special power. But you would continue this process until all the workers have been placed by everyone, and then you would calculate the scores. Again, all the fame that you've bought, and you would calculate the buildings and or the workers. So whoever has the majority in a district would get 1 point per resident in that district. So yellow would get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points just for having the majority here. So it's very important to have the majority in these districts, because that's where you're going to get the big lump sum of points. And that's the game in a Tentacle nutshell. So let me go ahead and tell you my thoughts on this game. So that is Tentacle Town, and what do I think of it? It gets an 81 from me. It is fascinating. I like worker placements, not like my top tier mechanism in a game, but I'm fascinated by them. One of my favorite ones is Caverna, but this one does something different, whereas most of the time you'll have your own workers, maybe 1, 2 here and there that you have to kind of manage No, you have a pool of them, and I haven't actually done that before, and I think the fascinating part is that in itself. Now, there are other mechanisms that make the game fun. The tentacles are definitely a huge bump up to the aesthetics. But I like the mechanism of having one pool of people. It very much take that. So if you're not prone to those games, or you're prone to liking those games, or your party isn't, well, you might want to stray away from that. But the way that it does take that is my favorite part. Sometimes you want to make that decision to push meeples to a different district. Do you want to put a tentacle down and just leave it there and not harpoon it because you know the building next that's going to get destroyed is your opponent's? It's just this awesome kind of think again kind of actions, and I appreciate that. Now, I do think it does hiccup a few times where the gameplay is going to be the same every time. So once you've played this and you've played it a couple times, well, you'll know what the end result is going to be. But, you know, you can get better at this game. Try to min-max it if you want. Though I think every experience that I've had with this was a fun one. I do think this is great for kids as well. I think it might be a little more complicated for ages higher than 7. But my kiddo, I think, did a really good job with this one. So I was pretty impressed on how easy it was to explain and teach. So this is great for the family. You would see kids play it, and you can see adults playing it all the same. The time length says about 60 minutes. I think that's about right. There were some games that went over, some games that were under. 2-player games, the 2-player games what I played most of, and I really do like the back and forth, though I do think 3 and 4 is a kind of chaotic craziness because there are more buildings, more meeples, more actions going different ways because everybody has their own agenda. But overall, I like this. Replayability may be a little bit shallow, but I mean, you can never say no to these little tentacle things, right? So thank you so much again, Monster Fight Club, for this review copy. I do appreciate it. Really fun game. It's going to stay on my shelf. Thank you so much, Vine Nation, for clicking like and subscribe. Until next time that I see you, have a great rest of your day and a great time with all you play. You heard it here on the Game Vine. Bye. Vine Nation, we love making content here for you on the channel, and we're almost at 10,000 subscribers, so subscribe now and help us out. This video right here, I think you'll like. This video right here, YouTube thinks you'll like. Or you can just sit here and watch me dance as a dinosaur for a little bit longer. You can visit us at our social media outlets, and we're going to be improving our Patreon here soon. That's all for today. Miko, it's time to go. Good girl, Miko.